Are we live? All right, so today on this podcast, we're going to go over logos that people would use kind of in that whole orientation of starting your own company. So we kind of gone over finance and some other things in some of the other videos, but I think we need to step back and actually say, okay, if I have money and I've started the company, what's the next thing that I need to focus on, right? So
The next thing I'm
marketing,
gonna purchase.
branding, all of that stuff kind of comes into play. But what is the lasting thing that your company is always known for? Your
The
logo,
logo.
right? So you know Nike, you know Under Armour, you know these brands. I mean, instantly you just
Who?
see it and you know who they are, right?
Yeah, because people, they associate the logo with the brand, and the brand is the store is the
Right.
quality and all that.
And the other thing with that is, you know, it's the branding that goes behind it, because you're looking at, okay, what is that company known for? You know, are they trendy? Are they new? All of that should kind of play into your logo, right? So for our company, we decided on three different color spectrums. So we were trying to say white, red, black, and a little bit of gray. So we went 4 colors. And we have 3 or 4 different variations of the logo. But the biggest thing that you're looking for
Well, technically, you were correct. There's only 3 colors. There's white because of the white background, and whenever there's a black background, we replace it with the
We
black.
reverse it.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
black and white is neutral. That can be any. So really, our color is gray and red.
It can be clean. It can
Yeah.
be dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be anything across the board. The other thing you have to look at in your logo, which is one of the things I didn't think of when I first started AFI, is that
And I wasn't here.
it doesn't work good for social media if it's wide, right? So
Well, that's another conversation for another podcast. This man hated the idea of butchering the original AFI logo.
okay.
He was
so
like,
we're talking
no.
about our logo, and we're talking about
That
what
is
you
like
need.
rectangle. It's like a
But
rectangle shape.
but he is correct. So the original logo is long, and it's got AFI. I think it's actually yeah. So it kind of sticks out like that, so you can actually see it's our shirts and everything else. And one of the things that we wanted on it was, you know, to have that nice cursive AFI, and then we had the block lettering for the international, and it worked out very well for us until social media started picking up. So we're trying to put this graphic on different things.
Oh, we were hip until the internet was here. The internet ruined everything. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, we did.
The internet trashed our
I know.
business.
God, the internet.
So you have to adapt, right? And this is one of the old school, new school. German calls me into the office and he goes, "Hey, look, I got these new logos you need to look at." The first thing that I learned on branding is you don't want to change your logo.
Which makes sense. What you were saying
If I
makes
know
sense,
Nike's Nike and I know Under Armour's Under Armour, I don't want to have a new logo that doesn't match the original, because now, is that your company? Is it a knockoff of your company? But all these different things. So he comes in and he shows me 3 or 4 different logos, and I was like,
Circle logos, yes, circle logos, yeah.
circle logos, correct. And I said, "You've lost your mind." I go, "Do you realize we spent months making this logo the way that we want it? And now overnight you mutilated it and you made this smiley face circle and you put this trendy," I said, "This is horrible," right? And he's looking at me and I could tell the look on his face is like, "Oh, so just not today."
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, "Not today? Like, what do you, no, we're not going to use
It's
it."
never going to happen. I was like, all right.
So
You'll see.
when I know I'm wrong, I ask other people's opinions, right? That's what I do. So I could tell German was saying, "This is the proper way that you need to go. You need to figure it out." So I had Sean come in, the other business partner, say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, it looks good. Yeah, okay." I said, "You don't think that changing our logo is a problem?" "Oh, no, it looks good. All right." I was like, okay, maybe we're on to something. So I go to a couple other people in the company, and they looked at it, and they said, "Oh, yeah, you're thinking of changing the logo? Yeah, that's much better than your original one." So now I got 2 or 3 people who are actually saying, "Okay, we need to change the logo." And I'm like, okay,
You're welcome.
let me see. So we had some girls that were helping us with some marketing stuff. So we had a meeting,
Oh, yeah,
and
we
literally the meeting went through, and we were almost done with it. And the last second, I said, "Hey, just have a question for you. You know, we got this logo that's kind of like a banner, and we're thinking about changing it to a circle. You know, what do you think about it?" And they looked at it and literally took 2 seconds. They were like, "Oh, yeah, it looks clean. It's nice. It's pretty. Yeah, I like that." I was so pissed at that moment. I really, like, I'm just sitting there going, okay, so 3 or 4 people have said they agree. Now I got these marketing girls who kind of know what they're doing because it's their livelihood. So like they're competent, and they're like, oh yeah, we agree. It looks great. That's just one of those things you have to look at and say, okay, I'm not right about everything.
Right.
And there's going to be smarter people, and you have to take their advice.
Wait, did he just call me smarter than him?
And it lines up that way, right?
I'm glad this is recorded.
So with that being said, that was how our logo went from one, which was a banner, into a circle, and the circle has worked out well for us. And we still use both. We kind of go back and forth sometimes.
The circle really is just the for the icon purposes. And when you really think about it, when I looked at it, we did change it because we made it a circle, but the original logo has 2 lines. So all we did was grab those 2 lines and just made it turn like this. Everything else stayed the same. So to the marketing ladies that was helping us with the branding at first, they were like, yeah, of course. Like, because you can't have a circle. I mean, you can. It just doesn't look good if you have a circle and you have all this blank space right here, and you just have your logo going.
The problem with social media is everything's almost a square.
Yeah.
So us trying to put this banner in there was basically making us shrink the logo down to where we were losing, half, if not 3/4 of the screen.
You can't read what the bottom word says.
So, and then on the other end of that is it's going into the top left corner, the back page of something. So literally it was already shrunk down on top of being shrunk down. So it didn't work. I had to do something. So the reason why I'm telling you all that story, right, is as you're trying to do your logo, you have to think about where your logo is being posted, right? But then you have to look at the digital side. Digital side is very important. So, one, make sure your logo has to do with the colors that you like. Because on the other side, if your logo is a color that you don't really, it's not easy on the eyes, you're going to be putting that everywhere. Yeah. So it's very important that whatever color spectrum you go with, you're buying into. That's going to be everywhere. Second thing is it going to work for where you're going to post it? And third, is it very clear what your company is? You have to understand you're sold into that logo. And a lot of people use companies to make them. Fiverr's one of them. You can pay $20, $30. They'll come up with a logo. You can give them ideas. They come up with all kinds of things. We've used them several times. But you have to realize that logo is very important.
It's forever.
It's forever, and you have to like it.
Yeah.
And it has to be very clear to your customer what it is. So the old English script, the old look, if that's what your product is, that's fine. If you're looking for something new age, contemporary, make sure it's clean. Cartoon, animation, those types of things are very popular. The other thing is, if you're looking at doing more of a graphic, the graphic can't be too detailed.
No, you can't.
Because it's going to be screen printed on T-shirts and uniforms and clothes and this, that, and the other. So you want something that's wide, lines, outlines, big symbols. That's the type of thing that you want to see as a logo.
I wasn't here when y'all first started. Who did the logo? Or whose idea was the logo? You?
Me and Sean said, okay, we have to come up with a logo for the company. This is definitely the name that we want to use. And we actually hired an outside graphic designer and said, we want you to come up with some logos. The guy came back with, 20, maybe even 30 logos. They all were totally thrown off. So it's either they were blue or purple, the color spectrum was off, the cursive was off, the blocks were off.
But did you tell him what you wanted at first? Like, look, I wanted it to be cursive with the words, or he did that all by himself?
We went online and we looked at probably Google 1,000 different logos.
How to make a logo.
We actually just put corporate logos, and we just Google searched it. And we looked at page after page after page of everybody's logos to kind of give us an idea of what we wanted, what we didn't want, what we liked.
Just the direction.
We kind of came out with the rough. We wanted some cursive for the AFI because we knew that was going to be the abbreviation. And then we wanted the international to be in block. And then other than that, we were kind of left open for interpretation. So as we looked at it, each version became better and better and better. And then we finally were like, okay, so this size needs to go from a 10 to a 14, and this cursive needs to be slanted a little bit more. So when German was trying to actually replicate the design of our logo for digital, do a JPEG and so on, he goes, well, what did you guys use? What font did you use? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
He goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, you had to pick one. I was like, no, I think we grabbed a font and then we just kind of adjusted it. He's like, this is ridiculous, you know? And I mean, we basically, well, we could have used a hand scripter, you know, and gone that way and scribed it. But you want your logo to be original, right? You don't want it to be where it looks very similar to someone else's. You want it to be creative, but then you want it very clear when I look at it to know your brand. And that worked for us.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, you know, like your boxes, your tape, all of that stuff, you can go ahead and add your logo into. So forward think, I could put this logo on anything and it would look good. And if in your mind you're going, well, I'd probably have to adjust it or it's not going to look good if I put it on the UPS label, then rethink your logo. But it is very important. You can't rebrand yourself. You can't spend a year or two doing your logo and then be like, I kind of wish I wanted to add this. Oh, I kind of wanted to do that. Because by the time you have 3 or 4 different logos out there at the beginning, you don't have any presence in the market. And now all of a sudden people really don't know what to associate with you. So it's very important. Pick your logo. Have 20 or 30 different versions done. You might spend, you know, $200-$300 going through the practice, but
it's well worth
nail it,
Yeah,
make
well
it work.
Because I know for sure, I know it's a good logo when people want to put it on a shirt and wear it. But I say it's even a better logo when they want to tattoo it on them.
You got a couple open spots.
All right, I'm going to come through with an AFI logo. But yeah, that's, so, one, we're not going to switch up the logo anymore. We just got the circle.
We're good.
If you guys are going to start from the beginning, make it circle friendly.
Correct.
Square friendly. I also say stay away from the graphics because when it's a graphic, you can't just put that with a clear background anymore. You can't just throw that somewhere. It always look kind of off and stuff. I think I like our logo, just the AFI cursive, because even if you don't see the words, well, obviously I work here, so I see it every day. But now you know what it is. You already associate the lettering with the words, what it stands for. I like logos personally. I like logos that can stand by themselves without words. Granted, our logo is AFI, but if it didn't have the actual words and it was just AFI, that's still a logo you're going to remember. And people ask us for merch all the time, too, and it's coming soon, I promise you.
The only problem is when you're young as a company and you're trying to abbreviate, people don't associate. So you have to make sure the branding's in there before you kind of do a separation on that, but it's possible. It's just within a window of time. Yep.
Yeah, so for all the people that's wanting to start a business and you guys think that it's going to take thousands and thousands of dollars to do it, there's a website called fiberr.com. You go on there, you say exactly what you're looking for. You just got to type in there looking for a logo. There's people that charge from $5 to $100 depending on how detailed you want it, what kind of. But always ask for a vector. A lot of people don't know this, but when you're getting a logo done, always ask for the vector file, because if not, once they send you your logo, even if they send it to you with no background PNG file, there's only a certain amount of stretching you can do a PNG. So you can't throw it up on a billboard. So whenever you're going to do a billboard, I know this is jumping from like A to B, like, I'm barely starting a company, you want me to go on a billboard?
Look, what we're trying to prove is only do something once. So if you do your logo and you pay for it to be created, get the vector file so you don't have to go back to them in a couple of months and say, hey, my graphic designer for the T-shirt embroidery said that I need a vector file. Yeah. Get the vector file at the beginning. Yeah,
you can stretch as big as you want, as small as it never loses its pixels because it's a vector, which means it's.
So it's a higher quality, and realistically, you can zoom it, and it's not going to go all pixelated.
Yeah, and it's transparent. I mean, you can make it transparent as a watermark. You could throw it on top. That's why Nike's just a check. Yep. You don't see Nike and then there's like
a white background stuck on a T-shirt.
That's a vector. But also people that are beginners, they send it to you PNG and tell you that's a vector. That's not a vector.
Okay, so to wrap this up, you need a logo that's going to last the distance.
Social media friendly.
Social media friendly. Needs to be clean, sleek.
Color.
Nice, bright colors.
Or the color that reflects your, I mean, if you're a dark.
Right, if you're a goth company, you need a black and white, and white.
Black and purple if you want. Like just the colors that match your brand. Your brand.
There's several companies out there that'll work. Fiverr is actually just a freelance grouping. So there's literally thousands of people inside of Fiverr that can do your logo design. And then when you actually do get the logo design, make sure you get a vector file.
Please. Save you a
All
lot
right.
of headaches.
I think we wrapped it up. There's a lot of companies that we're going to see that's going to go out there and do some logos. We just hope he gave you a little bit of advice and things to look out for.
Right. Thank you for tuning in. AFI. Live with AFI, man. With the one and only Josh Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, can we... No? All right, sorry.
No, all right. It's a wrap.
Has anybody seen Josh?